Okay, call this January 12th meeting of the Tourist Development Council to order. And invocation, Jackie, and lead the pledge.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. If y'all join me, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you again for the opportunity to meet freely and openly, to decide what's best for our county, to do the right thing above all. Thank you again for blessing our first responders, all of them, whether in the county, out of the country. Bring them all home safe. Thank you again for the beautiful weather, and thank you for the fact that we live in Citrus County. We just ask all these things, Lord, and thank you in your precious Son's name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jackie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, roll call, please.
All right, we have Mike Shoemaker is present, Michael Mankey is present, Cindy Guy is absent, Jackie Hepper is present, Gene McGee is absent. He said he wouldn't be able to make it in today.
He's excused, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Commissioner Davis is present, Dr. Paresh Desai is present, Mike Ingalls is present, and Ashton Schrock, he did email yesterday and said he wouldn't be able to make it in today.
Thank you, Christina. All right. Adoption of the agenda. I believe we have one change, the deletion of item D3, Pirates Cove.
That's correct.
Does anybody else have any changes, additions, deletions?
Move that they accept with change.
Second.
Thank you. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, take up Cindy's role.
Okay, open to the public. Anybody wish to speak? Nope.
Not much fun.
All right, we're gonna move on. Let's see, item C, approved minutes of meetings and excused absences.
Commissioner Davis, we had one item, A5, we need to elect the vice chair.
Oh, there was an addition then. It's not on my agenda.
Oh, it's on mine.
They're called call to order A5.
Not on mine.
A5.
Not on, I have two agendas in front of
Yes.
me, and the first one does not have it, the second one does.
Yep.
Okay. So,
All right.
yeah, the election of the vice chair is, we do that every January as we move forward since the, currently Mike Ingalls serves as the vice chair, so at this point we would open it for nominations and go from there.
Okay,
I nominate Mike Ingalls again.
I second.
Me too.
I move nomination cease.
That's how it goes, folks.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
All right, simple enough.
So I guess I'm
All
on the
right.
correct agenda now.
Yes, now everybody is on the same page. My
All right.
apologies.
Item B, approved minutes of the December 8th meeting.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And already did open to the public now that I'm on this agenda. Presentations, D1, Their Life, My Lens, marketing opportunity.
Yes, so today we have Jason Whitfield and Ronnie Green. They've brought forward a proposal for a new fishing show. It's a little different than some of the other episodic things that we've done, and I thought this particular angle made it worthy for us to discuss and see if there's a way to partner. They'll go more into depth, but this certainly touches a button that we haven't much, which is in terms of being inclusive to everybody, especially the special needs sector of our population. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ronnie and Jason to go more in depth and let you know where things are.
All right, so hi, I'm Chaston. I'm going to try and share a little PowerPoint, hopefully. Okay, maybe not. I've used Zoom, but this one's new, so let me mess with it a little bit.
It should be
Justin,
in
is
the
it
top right
is it the
corner.
same plan that you sent me, your scope? They
Yeah.
have all that in a hard copy.
Okay.
So if it's not any different, then we can just go verbally.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing on this thing. Okay, so, um, sorry. Hi, I'm Chastin Whitfield. A little background about me. I am 22 years old. I'm a senior at SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, Georgia. And I take disadvantaged kids fishing. So kids in wheelchairs, spina bifida, autism, cancer, Down syndrome, you name it. I take them fishing. My goal is to give them a break from like their everyday doctor appointment, chemotherapy, you name it. It's just their only focus is reeling in that fish. They're not focused on their next treatment or anything. It is just reeling in that fish and giving them like normalcy, feeling like just another kid. And this started when I was 15. I did a fishing camp out on one of the piers here in my hometown, and this little boy came up to me, and he was in a little wheelchair. His name was Easton, and he was 4 at the time. And he was the only one catching snapper. He was the only one catching fish on the entire pier. The other kids were actually getting mad. So he would catch a fish, and he started doing donuts in his wheelchair on the pier, going, "I caught a fish! I caught a fish!" So I went up to him and I was like, "Hey, have you ever been on a boat?" And he said, "No, I haven't. My wheelchair won't fit." And I'm like, "Well, hold on a second." So I found, at the time I was 15, so I found a friend that had a boat that could fit a wheelchair, and I took him fishing, and I've been hooked. I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like his face and just his reaction. I like seeing like the end product. I like seeing like with charities if I'm giving back, if I'm giving money to them, I want to see like the end product. So when I saw his face light up, I was like, dang, like this is amazing. So I've taken, I think, about 70 kids fishing since then. Um, and it kind of snowballed into now. I have a TV show called Their Life, My Lens with Chastin Whitfield, and it is exactly that, but now it's on TV. And I feel like this is what the world needs right now because everything's so dark and a little crazy that this is like a little light in the world. And even if this show only impacts or motivates one person to take a disadvantaged kid fishing, or not even fishing, just helps somebody else, if it just motivates them to help someone else, I feel like then the world would just be a better place and brighter, especially right now. So, with that all being said, I'm going to turn it over to Ronnie Green, who is part of my production team.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for taking the time with us. We're part of the production team, Green Outdoors, and I'm going to get right into the meat and potatoes. Where is she going to be airing? Chastin is doing a fantastic job. She'll be airing on the World Fishing Network. Now, what is the World Fishing Network? It's literally a network of passionate anglers that can view fishing, all things angling, 24/7. The reach is about 20 million people, and the demographic is somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 54 years of age, of which they all have a very strong appetite for fishing. And so it is also tracked through what we typically hear is Nielsen, but this is tracked through RenTrax. So first and second quarter of this year, she will be on the World Fishing Network. And then third quarter, she will be on CBS Sports. Now, CBS Sports has a very large range of reach, I'd say 52 million, and it has a little bit of everything. The traditional sports like basketball, football, hockey, bull riding, poker, you name it. 44% makes over $100,000, so they have a lot of disposable income. And of course, 64% are college graduates, a lot of them which are C-suite employees. And then 77% are homeowners. So what does that mean, and where does that take you, and what does it mean to you guys at the end of the day? We're looking for to help with production $35,000. And what that will cover as a presenting sponsor, it will cover being the presenting sponsor on CBS Sports and on WFN. So that's 3/4 of airings, of which you will be at the very beginning. We will film 2 episodes in Citrus County, demonstrating some of the capacities and amenities that Citrus County has for folks who have disabilities or special needs. So I think that's important as well. We'll have an opening billboard with a graphic and audio tag with all 8 episodes. And then we'll produce 4 one-minute videos, vignettes for the destination, all coming from when we shoot the episode. As you can imagine, there's a lot of extra video that we acquire, so I think it would be good for us to give you that. So, and then 3 minutes of any of the footage from any of the episodes you can use for the term of this whole contract and agreement. And then, of course, we will display the most current logo appropriate to maximize the viewership. And obviously, we're shooting in Citrus County, as Chaston has a very strong social media following, and that is massive. And so what that means is you'll have access to that, where she's doing a lot of promotions monthly, talking about her presenting sponsor, maybe some destination-oriented little vignettes or clips. She loves to be in front of the people, in front of her social media audience to call them to action. And of course, she has a blog, of course, and once quarterly on Their Life, My Lens, she'll talk about Citrus County. So that's, in a nutshell, the nuts and bolts of what we're looking at for Citrus County, as I described. If that's not something that's available, we have also the option to do one show at $17,500, but that will cover 1 episode. You will have no commercial presence on the episodes as well, no blog or video vignettes with 3-minute footage. So at the end of the day, that's what we're requesting. I know your time is extremely valuable, so any questions for us as it relates to us requesting assistance and partnership with Their Life, Their Lens, Ireland?
I don't think y'all can see me. This is Holly Davis, the chair. I do have, first of all, Chaston, this is a beautiful life mission you have, and I really applaud you for that. And I love everything about it from a life perspective. Couple of questions on the package. You said 4 one-minute video vignettes.
Yes.
How are those, episodes and title cards and whatnot, I can understand. What is the purpose of those? How are they deployed? Are they co-branding between Chaston and Citrus County, or is it more tilted to us or to Chaston, or?
It is catered to you guys. So just so you know, you can tell her exactly what you want. We will produce them as Green Outdoors, and they will be for Citrus County. So if, say, for instance, you say we want to actually highlight one of our restaurants. And so we put together a video that highlights the restaurants for about a minute. And it's a nice little, I guess I would call it an extended commercial, if you want to call it that. But it's something to represent some more video footage that you can use in perpetuity for Citrus County.
Okay. Board, any questions, comments?
I have one question, if I may. You mentioned during your presentation that any of the stock video that's made could only be used during the term of this engagement. Our policy is that it becomes stock video that we can use in the future. Is that agreeable with you all?
That is agreeable. As a matter of fact, that's what we would recommend. So that is not a problem whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Davis, when we had also talked to there are, we have the one thing that everybody likes to do with the swimming with the manatees, which is another possible opportunity that we had discussed, having an inclusive experience with that it's not something that we currently have in our repertoire for either videos or stills. So that's something that we could look at doing. And I think Ronnie and Chaston had both like that idea as a complement to their normal programming. Plus, it's a lot of fun, so it's a bonus. But I think it's something that we could look at and see if we can fit into the shooting schedule.
And what is the timing on this if we were to move forward, since you mentioned swimming with the manatees and it's now manatee season? If it's a this is a 3-quarter contract, correct?
Yes, it is.
John, do you have any?
Well, I mean, thankfully for the Save Bristol River project, there's more manatees here year round than previous times. So I think we can find one that that would be willing to have people nearby. So I don't know that yes, right now is optimal because they're everywhere, but I think we can find that if we want to do that component. I think we can find an operator that knows where they're hiding out, and we can make a visit.
Yeah, I've swum with them in July, so yeah, I'm aware of that. But late spring might be optimal. Okay, so this is recommended by staff.
Yeah, I think because of the the lens actually on it of this different version of an episodic video, we've moved away from doing episodes and change for more content, like with the Florida Insider Fishing Report and Real Animals, where it churns every week. We get new stuff, but this one is such a different thing that we don't have, and it is an important part of the tourism marketing that I think it is something that we should move forward with.
Okay, awesome. Board, what's your pleasure?
Go ahead, Jack.
Well, just one question, on the 4 1-minute vignettes, we're gonna have maybe bass fishing on the east side, the manatees, it's gonna rotate to cover everything Citrus County encompasses.
That is correct. So the good thing about the videos, you have the ability, almost like a la carte, to tell us exactly what you want. And we have the production team, and we go out and we will customize the videos based on the needs of the organization.
Thank you.
Commissioner Heffer, by doing the 2-episode package, we can cover each side easily and fully, instead of trying to scramble and pack it all into one episode.
Right.
So I think that's definitely an advantage to the proposal they put forward.
Thank you, John. That was it.
Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, real quick. The social media numbers, were they for Green Outdoors or were they specifically for Chasten's social media?
It's 100% Chasten Nation. She has a huge following, and she also is it's a rare form. She also has the blue check mark, so she's verified, and that is rare in the fishing industry. So she's doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Great idea.
Would anybody care to make a motion on this?
Michael Mankey, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Whatever.
Okay.
Everybody seconds
Motion on the
it.
second.
We all do.
Do we have any public comment?
And to qualify, the motion is for the full sponsorship of $35,000.
Thank you
Yes.
for clarifying that. Any board discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Look forward to the
Ronnie.
partnership.
Hi,
Great.
Chasten.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ronnie and Chasten. We look forward to working with you.
A place to stay, you know.
Right, yeah, I can hook you up.
Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank
We'll be in
you,
touch.
too.
Thank you.
Okay, Madden Media update.
Yes, so I've asked Madden to come and speak to us quarterly, kind of an update on where things are going, some results, and look at as we're moving into the next time frame in our marketing schedule. that they've also got a couple of ideas to present in terms of opportunities. That's also something I've tasked them with, is each quarter to come up with something different that's outside of our marketing plan, to see if there's any interest in moving forward with. So at this point, I think we've talked about a little bit. We had internally, Madden had a change. So TJ Fletcher is our account manager. He'll be driving the ship today. Known TJ for quite a while. He's been worked throughout the Southeast and with other DMOs similar to us, as part of the Southeast Tourism Society. So happy to have TJ aboard. We had a nice meeting on Monday, catching up on what we're presenting, and I think he's got some really good ideas. So at this point, I'll turn it over to the Madden team.
Well, thanks,
Great.
John.
Go ahead, TJ.
Well, I'm excited to be here today, and John, thank you for that introduction. I am super excited to work on this account, and even before I started working on this account, I was actually a vacationer to Crystal River. I've swam with the Manatees and explored the plantation, and just really love the area. So I'm excited to be on board and kind of melding my passion of travel and tourism with my work, working at an advertising agency and marketing agency. With that, we're going to just start our screen share and get right into the meat of the presentation.
Can everybody see that?
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you.
So just to kind of give you a little bit of my experience and background, as John mentioned, I am a member of the Southeast Tourism Society, as well as a former board member. I've spent about 7 years here at Madden. And while I've been with Madden for 7 years, I've actually been in the travel marketing space for about 10 years. I am a certified TMP with the Southeast Tourism Society, a travel marketing professional, and I live just down the street in St. Petersburg, Florida. So I can't wait to get up there and meet everyone in person here in the upcoming weeks.
Well, and hey everybody, Brett Gordon here. I'm Chief Revenue Officer at Madden. One thing we wanted to add to our updates here quarterly is just a bit of high-level industry trends. So I want to do a quick update from some stuff we're seeing from U.S. travel and destination analysts, just on intent to travel and how COVID continues to affect things. Everything continues to be fairly bullish. All the data continues to show increased interest in travel. We have a few data points there that you can see and read. I'm not going to go through each of them. But overall, on top of overall travel increasing, we're continuing to see interest in destinations like Crystal River continuing to increase significantly. And Jen, if you want to go to the next slide. As they're polling those travelers, this slide shows how many people are showing interest in these specific types of vacation as we look at 2021 compared to 2022. And as we see that interest increasing, I know it's a little hard to read there, but small towns, outdoor adventure, nature, all the things that Crystal River and Citrus County has to offer continue to be those leading areas. So as we think about just general how we see travel going and how we see continued visitation to the area, from all the data we're seeing both nationally and in Florida, continue to be very bullish on the short-term future for travel into Citrus County. So just wanted to share those couple of points for you guys before we jump into the meat and potatoes of our results and some of the ideas that we've got going.
So as we look at the overall marketing plan, we just wanted to remind you that we take a full funnel approach when we're setting up marketing campaigns, making sure that we're talking to consumers wherever they are within their travel or journey. We have tactics to build brand awareness by getting a lot of impressions of Discover Crystal River out into the market. We then build engagement when consumers are already looking for a vacation and where they should vacation to and what they should do while they're in market. As they move into the evaluating the destination and evaluating where they're going to stay, we drive clicks to relevant information about the destination and to your partners. And finally, as consumers are ready to make their purchase, we capture those conversions to book room nights and really drive heads and beds. So this is just the marketing calendar overall. As you notice, we are here in January, but as we look at February and March, we will be moving from the peak season into our shoulder season, and therefore we'll be updating our creative. So moving away from all of the creative focusing on manatees to more of some of the newer images that we have for water activities as well as scalp.
If I may, on the calendar for this year, I think Easter's exceptionally late, isn't it?
17th.
So Manatee tourism season's going to extend till about the 23rd or so of April. So from a marketing perspective, you know, going well into March probably makes sense to continue with Manatees this year, because even though Manatee season ends the end of March, Manatee tourism season ends the week after Easter.
Okay, thank you for that insight. That definitely is helpful.
And I'll jump in. By the way, most of you guys know me, although Commissioner Davis, meeting you for the first time, I'm the media director on your account, and I did want to mention that we do have Manatee creative stuff that's run pretty much year round, just because it's so crucial to the destination. But we also want to make sure that we're hitting those other pieces, and we want to make sure that we're getting exposure to some of the other inland cities and other locations within the county. So, but yeah, that's actually really good to know, because that might slightly change our transition a little bit. So thanks for letting us know. I did want to give you guys some just kind of brief updates on the last quarter. We actually started this last quarter really strong for the new fiscal. We had a total of 65% increase in new users year over year. And I know I've spoken about this last quarter, where we realized that we've been doing such a great job for you guys that we started to compete with ourselves, and we realized that, hey, these percentages used to be in the hundreds of percent, and now we're in the 20s and 30s. So it was really nice to see that 65% increase, which is a little bit higher than what we had been looking at in quarters past. So and then also a few other nice little nuggets here. The 21% increase in family vacationers is really solid, and also that increase in travelers who are in market to Orlando. And what that means is that these are people who are not necessarily or who aren't in the destination, but are in market to travel to Orlando. And that's generally coming from Google data sets that tell us about people who are doing searches for hotels in Orlando or flights in Orlando, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how we understand what they mean to be in market to travel. Total video consumed this last quarter was almost a year, 253 days of video that we've pushed out and put in front of those target audiences, and 1,000 comments, shared, likes, saves on socials. Exposure there just in the last quarter. I did want to give you guys an update for the whole calendar year last year, so basically January to December 31st. Obviously, that increase in traffic still there, for almost 50% increase in new users. We also had a nice almost 60% increase in visits from families with young kids. So that was also really exciting to know that those families who have those younger children that are coming to show that interest in the county. And then obviously 21 recent people who are in market for those tours and tourist attractions. Going back to that awesome number of video consumed, when I added up all throughout the whole year, almost over 4.5 years of branded content, and 4.2 million comments, shares, likes, all that social engagement stuff. Again, just really good exposure, and of course, knowing that people are engaging with some of those social posts and other ads that we have out there that people can engage with. And of course, we all know that an adorable manatee is always going to get a comment. So. Yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to mention here was just that, just to kind of show you guys this breakdown of what your web traffic looks like and where those sources are coming from. And so when you look at this, more than half of all of the sources are coming from our media, and that's all the stuff that you see highlighted in those boxes. And it's a little hard to tell here, but one of the things that I wanted to point out here, which is actually really impressive, for the last, it feels like forever, the last two, some of our media has actually delivered more sessions to the site than organic traffic. You can see that that's not the case anymore. Google organic traffic, direct traffic, is really people who go directly to the website. Those two things are now at the top of the traffic sources. And while that may seem like that's, not great, hey, how come you guys aren't driving all that media you were? That's actually a really, really good thing, because it kind of shows that the interest that we're driving is really having a large effect, and people are starting to search for the destination and find the destination on their own without our help and assistance in making them aware and driving those ads in front of them. So all of this is working the way exactly as we want it to work, and it's really exciting to see that our media is having that really solid long-term effect that we're always looking for.
So as we look at strategies for growing your market share and destination, we really focus on three main objectives. The first being we want to increase longer midweek stays. Secondly, we want to attract your top fly markets as well as long drive visitor markets. And lastly, we want to increase the spend within the destination by targeting people with higher incomes as well. So looking at our top segments, we see some great results. Here we're looking at Atlanta, New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, Dallas, Hartford, and New Haven. And as you can see, we have some benchmarks there. The click-through rate of being 0.4, well, all of your markets that we are hitting are well above the industry average, as well as the conversion rate being super high as well. Specifically looking at Atlanta, the click-through rate is 1.4, conversion rate is 8% compared to the national average of 3.5%. Our interaction rate, 3.17 is the national benchmark compared to 4.16 that we're driving there in Atlanta. Here in New York, that was the largest market, driving the total number of clicks, 7,096. So really, this is just showing that these markets that we are targeting for our growth strategy, are really engaging with the brand.
Yeah, and to that end too, part of that effort to make sure that we're getting in front of those higher income audiences, making sure that those people are actually doing what we want them to do, right? They want to spend a little bit more money. So we ran this campaign last year with Converse and Epsilon, and part of the power of this campaign was the fact that we were able to track there that I think it's Epsilon has credit card data. So that we're able to deliver ads to our audience, our target audience. We're able to then track those delivered ads to and watch when they come into the destination, and actually track how much they spend using the credit card data through the Epsilon service. So when we did that, we ran last summer. We had two tiers looking at geos, or two different levels of geos. And spent about $105,000. Some of you will remember so the results were that we gave a 1 return on investment. So we spent $105,000. We got a total of $2.9 million in total message revenue. And we saw a total of 12,000 visitors come into the destination based on our campaign. But of course, that dollar amount isn't just those who spent money, say, at a hotel, but also the money they spent on any tourist attractions, money they spent on restaurants, bars, all that kind of stuff is all kind of folded in, so we can get a really good picture of how much people are actually spending in the destination. So really exciting, and you can kind of see some of the top level numbers here: 46,000 transactions. On average, 3.7 purchases per visitor, which is a little bit higher than normally what we see for some of these kinds of campaigns. So that was actually really nice to see that people were kind of pulling out their credit card that one extra time when they were in destination. But the other really power of this is that they are also able to kind of break down where they're spending this money. And so we can actually see where in destination, like down to the zip code, where they spend this money, and just to kind of give you that visual representation of how effective the campaign was, is obviously some of the more popular destinations are the more deeper colored blue, but we did see that there was plenty of spend as far inland as we would hope, and I did it's a little hard to see, but we did kind of show that breakdown. But just to give you guys a quick breakdown, obviously Crystal River delivered the most amount of revenue from the visitors that came into the destination, but Homosassa and Inverness we're certainly not at the very bottom of the zip code list, and that's really good and that's really strong. And we kind of want to make sure that we're encouraging people to do more than necessarily just swim with the Manatees or to make that extra trip. So swim with the Manatees in February and then come back for some scalloping and maybe hit the library in Inverness. So. And the last piece I wanted to mention here was the breakdown of the different geos. So another piece that's really helpful here is to see how much, what percentage of visitors are coming into the destination based on this campaign, and then what percentage of those visitors are accounting for the revenue. And this is important to kind of understand, like, what are our really valuable geos? And as TJ and I were talking about, destinations like Atlanta and New York, we have recognized are probably pretty valuable, and this just kind of gives us proof that that's the case. And so you can see, if you can't see, I know it's a little hard to see the graph, but if you can see there, Atlanta only accounts for about 4% of the total visitors that came to the destination, but accounted for over 6% of all the revenue that was spent. New York, 7.8% of the visitors came from New York, but almost 10% of all the revenue was spent by those New York travelers. And so that's really kind of a good indicator to continue marketing in those places and that we are getting travelers from those destinations. Tampa and Orlando are always going to be our bread and butter, but always good to know that the effects that we have when we do these kinds of advertisements actually work really well and help drive that additional spending when they're in the destination.
And John, thank you for that update. And one of the things we always like to talk about some of the good and what is working, but I also like to talk about maybe what isn't working as well, or what is something that maybe is a learning or an insight. And one of the insights that we gathered from this data was our Jacksonville market. Here you can see on the bar graph, we had about 8.9% of our total impressions being delivered to the Jacksonville market, yet they were only about 4% of the revenue and 4.7% of the total number of visitors. And they only had a yield per visitor of $196 compared to a market such as Atlanta that actually had a yield of $322 per visitor. So really, this gives us insight into knowing where we should put more money in future campaigns, which markets are performing better to really hone in on your right audience that's going to spend more and stay longer. So as we move on to our brand campaigns, we really have a lot going on and that we're super excited about. We just wrapped up 3 new videos focusing on beer and wine trails, paddling in paradise, as well as sunsets and scenery. So these 3 videos were just approved within the last couple of weeks, so we wanted to share one of the videos with you.
There's no audio on that, guys.
We may have to send the link out to everybody and you can watch it on your own.
There isn't supposed to be any audio on that. That doesn't have audio.
Start singing.
But there is a beautiful music playing in the background, if you can imagine.
Get on it.
No, what I was saying is it by design does not have music or voiceover or anything. It's just the video.
So we'll send these links out as well, and if you would like to watch them, they'll also be available on YouTube and the website here in the coming days. So we're really excited about these 3 videos. These are going to complement the 6 videos that we already have produced. That was, again, focusing on scallop, girlfriend getaways, fish to fort, golf, boating, and RV. So with all of these videos, we really have a lot of projects here, and we would ask to the board to consider some funding requests out of the Special Projects Fund to really wrap up the remaining production of these 9 videos total. What we are asking for is to help with a 3-minute hero video utilizing our new clips. This video would be able to be used at Visit Florida functions, at the Florida Huddle, It would also be put on the website as well as YouTube for anyone who is interested in more video content about Discover Crystal River beyond, a 15 or 30-second video. Additionally, we will also need to make some of these videos vertical videos where we can use those on social media and other digital media placements. And lastly, we need to cut down some of these videos into 6, 15, and 30 seconds where we can do video sequencing as part of our video first strategy for our digital media tactics. So we would ask the board to consider $7,500 as a special funding request.
This is Holly Davis. I don't think you guys can see me because of the camera, according to our view. You can see Terry, so Terry can wave. And since I am new to the board, I have is this an anticipated phased funding request that was positioned before, or is this a cost overrun with production issues that we didn't anticipate, or what's the background on this request? And staff can answer that, or Madden, whichever.
Some of this was unanticipated. I mean, when we got like the need for the hero video for the different trade shows that, for example, you mentioned Florida Huddle. We're a lunch sponsor for that, and we didn't have anything that really showcases us in a way for that level of event. So this is a similar thing we had the previous time when we did a large edit. A large video shoots. There was some additional editing cost to cut it down into some more usable pieces. So, yeah, it's a combination between unanticipated and need.
Okay. Board, any questions, comments, concerns? Anyone?
Looks like a good project. We come to the table all the time as long as we have the money, which we do, and it makes sense. Seems to present, and video is the best way to tell our stories. So
yes, it is.
Unless if you're looking for a motion, I'd be happy to make a motion to approve the special project request of funding of $7,500.
Second.
Right. Any further discussion? Anybody from the public?
Can we have some audio on the next one?
On the left.
What was the sunset? Was that used on our website? Is that why it didn't have audio? Is that, or is it just not produced yet?
The audio is just not playing. It does have music in the background.
It does.
Yeah, it's just not playing on the screen share, I guess.
Okay, all right.
We'll see that in the clips you send us.
That's right.
Or hear it, sorry. You want to see music, unless you're on drugs.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You got to vote too.
Yeah, the chair forgets to vote. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And could I get an updated PowerPoint? There's some slides in there that I don't have in my copy.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, super. Thank you.
And thank you for approving that. It's definitely going to be well worth every investment dollar that you put into it. And we're excited to get moving on that project. We also just wanted to show you kind of the digital ads, display ads that we're running in this winter season, focusing on different activities, manatee season, fishing, culinary, and then your overall brand campaign. This is just some of the creative as an example for you to look at. Also, as part of that growth strategy that I mentioned, we really want to focus on midweek days and really driving a book now and save. So you can see here some of the different creative. All of these banner ads are really performing very well. We're seeing on average the click-through rate about 0.73, which is 365% above the industry average. So really driving home, the effect of our objective of growing the midweek travel. This is just a reminder of some of the video ads that we currently have running on social media. So you can see that we have 8 different versions here. There's 4 here and 4 on the next slide. And this is just to show you what's currently running in the market with the video assets that we currently have. Now that we have the approval to move forward with some additional video edits, we will be able to make some additional video placements that we'll show you in a future presentation. This is an example of one of our Facebook carousel ads for this winter. With our first image being of the beautiful little manatee. That's such a fun image that I wish that I was there swimming with the manatee. So again, just an example of the creative that's currently running. And here are the print ads that we currently have in the market. These are for our existing placements, but the ad here on the far right is an example of some of the print placements utilizing our new photography. So especially as we move in again from our peak to shoulder seasons, we'll be updating all of our creative to really focus on our new activities, water activities, and especially using the new images that we shot in our last photo shoot. So as we're looking forward into the spring, we will be looking at our two TV broadcast markets, again, of Tampa and Orlando. That will be, that will have over 2.8 million impressions, and we're looking to start that around March 15th. This is just an FYI. We'll have more information available on this at a later date. Also upcoming, as we're looking at our marketing plan, we have the Florida, we're focusing on some fishing campaigns with the Florida Insider Fishing Report, as well as Real Animals. The Florida Insider Report will go April through September, and Real Animals has already launched, and we've been providing some creative assets for them. So we look forward to having Real Animals as a part of our new marketing segments this year.
So one of the elements that we're currently working with is the Bandwango Deals app. So we've got a number of partners throughout Crystal River who have signed up for the free app, and it allows people to get various deals throughout the county on their phone with a sort of in-app sign up. This one has been pretty significantly successful. If you look at some of the numbers that we have here, Facebook ads have really been the driver of the signups here, with almost 3,000 past signups. Google display ads have brought in just over 300 signups as well. And then organically, people finding it on the site have signed up 128 past signups. The CTR on these ads are great, over 1% on Google and over 2% on Facebook. Moving into this year, we will be able to update the various partners' ads and offers, and also expand the program to new partners who would like to sign on for the free program.
And just a little note on that, if you have any friends that are business owners, they're in market, please encourage them to sign up for the Bandwango deals. We're always looking for new partners to participate in this free program.
On the visitor guide series, we finished last year. We finished the biking guide, and of course we have the regular visitor guide for the entire county. We're currently working on a new Waterways Guide and Map that we anticipate to have done in the first quarter of this year.
Mike Engels here. The Waterways Guide and Map, it may be worth talking or coordinating a little bit with the city of Crystal River on that side, because their waterfronts board has put one out in the past showing various launches and whatnot. So there's an existing one there that may be worth leveraging or saving money on one side or the other.
We're pretty far along in the process, and we already have a map for Kings Bay. Going to be a little more detailed than the one I believe that the city has out currently. So I think you'll be pleased with the results. It's coming together very nicely, and it's going to be a great asset to add to our other two brochures.
Okay, good.
I know this was talked about by the TDC before, and I think, you know, maps and things are very, you know, hard copies like that are very important. You may want to have a discussion at some point in the future on whether the magazine and the cost of producing the magazine is warranted and the mailing costs. I know that the people been on the board, this was discussed once before, but those types of publications are getting more antiquated and dated. So just for a future meeting, you may want to consider it.
I should know the answer to this question as many meetings as I've been to. Do we have a Citrus County app, a Visit Crystal River app?
We have an extremely friendly website, which will
All right.
trump an app any day.
Okay.
Our website is very well optimized
For mobile?
And, you know, John and I have talked a few times about whether we see a benefit to an app, and part of the reason why we don't is because you would only use it while you're in destination,
Right.
which is nice, but if your website, if you don't have to download an app, your website is just as user-friendly, I think that's almost more of a benefit to the visitor than spending our money on an app rather than just optimizing the website so they don't have to download anything.
Right. I've had to download association apps before at a trade show, and and it is annoying, and you go back and delete it later, but specifically to Randy's point about the maps, being able to, you know, have the channels for when you're kayaking. Most of us do kayak with our phones. Having the channels marked in there is on your phone would be a really good thing.
And
So
that would be an easy conversation to have with Tempest and see how we can build, if it's possible to build that into the website and what kind of cost we'd be looking at for something. So John and I can definitely chat about whether we can see if Tempest offers something.
because speaking from personal experience, that is one of the biggest pain points of Crystal River is trying to navigate anywhere where the kayakers are, and it's like herding cats. So, and I noticed Crystal River put up little signs, and I went to their meeting last night, and I guess they're working on a video for kayaking responsibly, like Manatee manners kind of thing. So, I'm done. Anybody else?
Great
Okay,
point.
carry on.
Cool. I did want to briefly mention our performance with the Visit Responsibly it's not really a campaign. It's a couple of ads that we built, and this was really just kind of in response to some less than respectful visitors that had been coming over the last year, and an effort to just make sure that we were trying to put a message out there to people who, while they were in destination, about being respectful, especially in terms of the environment and obviously manatees. Being respectful to manatees is very important. And so we ran a few that kind of see this example of some social ads that we were running. We didn't dedicate a whole lot of budget to it because it is messaging in destination, but we did want to make sure that we did have that there and that presence there, and it has been performing pretty well. So as we talk about click-through rates, we're usually looking for a 1% click-through rate for social ads. So 1.7% click-through rate's good, and that people are actually engaging with the pages that we were driving them to just kind of read that message about keeping nature clean and respecting boating speeds and things like that. So just wanted to give you guys that quick update.
So as we look at new media and marketing opportunities, I just want to think back a couple of slides to where we were talking about Conversant, and where John mentioned that we had a 28-to-1 ROI. For every dollar that you spent, $28 was returned on your investment. That's a huge number. That's proven success. So we really want to take another look at our Conversant buys. Knowing that we do see a significant return on investment, we really believe that Conversant Epsilon is a tried and true and proven partner. So we would ask the board for special consideration funding due to the high return on advertising spend and its proven success we would like to extend the campaign where in the previous campaign, it was looking at more of the shoulder season, where now we would like to look at peak season and compare the data between peak and shoulder season. We also would like to utilize the NEI report, which is the Net Economic Impact Report, where that data comes from, to really help inform our future marketing campaigns to yield the most valuable audience. And those people are, of course, the ones who are staying longer and spending more. There is also some new opportunities Conversant is rolling out that will give us some further insights as well as information on ad lift. So we would ask the board for consideration of special funding of $105,000. That is the same amount as the last Conversant campaign. It would be for a 3-month flight starting as soon as with your approval, running through April, focusing on our top tier markets. And for our deliverables, we're looking at about 9.9 to close to 10 million impressions. And to really have the most kind of bang for your buck, we're looking at doing this campaign as a display campaign where we can get the most data available. Really, what we're looking for is to help inform where we should be doing other placements. So Conversant has a really affordable and cost-effective display rate to get the NEI data information. And that would help us inform other media tactics such as video and connected TV to know what markets and what areas that we really need to focus on. With that, we would ask the board for consideration of $105,000.
Board?
Is it staff recommended? John?
So, yes, we brought it forward for discussion, and I mean, especially when we saw the details of the previous time, how fleshed out it was, and we saw originally, I think Jeff presented that we thought we were making $13 to $1, and ended up being 28 when the final report was said and done. I brought it, I think, enough of it to bring it to discuss. I don't know. I mean, it is a sizable chunk, just like it was last time. $105,000 is a significant investment. So we know it works, and at this time, is it the most effective way to go forward? I mean, we be in the same markets, and we're measuring a different time, as TJ said. So those are really my thoughts. As always, I say, ask them to bring something forward for discussion, and with the whys we think we should do it, and then we can discuss it and determine if we're going to do it or not. And I think they've done that. So now it's really up to the board how they feel. They think this is a wise investment of a significant sum.
This is Michael Mankey again. We remember the thing well, and it was for promoting off-season business. And I know there's nothing better than making good better, but will it be as dramatic an impact and effect, creating revenues for us in a time period where revenues seem to be created already through the efforts we're currently doing? At the same time, I mean, just on the long-term thinking, if this is something that continues to get a 13 plus 28% to 1 return, should it not just be incorporated or included in our regular marketing strategies as we move forward, instead of it being a special project scenario all the time? I guess I'm leaning towards, in my personal opinion, that it's probably a good thing to do. We seem to have the money. What do we got? 378 in special projects at this point, 378,000, which this would take about a third of it. So unless I would look to Madden as well, unless there's something else we can do to spend $100,000 of our special projects that would get us even a bigger bang in a month that we already have big bangs, it's probably the right thing to do moving forward. Love to hear anybody else's opinion on the process. Mr. Engel, sorry. Chairman? Chairperson?
Similar thoughts. I just automatically multiplied by 4, because why would we do it for a peak season quarter and not for the shoulder seasons that we really want to emphasize? So I sort of looked at it as a $420,000 ask versus the 105. And if it were me, I'd love to get more insight into our fall season, even more than spring. our spring season's, pretty compressed this year, but I'd love to see something for that, once schools go back Labor Day to middle December season, that for me lags the most, and I'd like to see the most emphasis on us filling up if we could.
I mean, the as soon as possible through April campaign would affect our spring shoulder, which we need help in May, June, May and June as well. So again, if money was no issue, it'd be a no problem, no brainer. But is it going to deflect our ability to do the same thing we need to do in a more need period later on? Probably not, since our tax revenues are up, we're getting more money, we're going forward, we're going to have a good readjustment, right, Mr. Oliver? Some true up money coming in soon.
I think John said we're getting 400,000 true up. I think
so,
something like that.
It's all sunshine,
Well, if I could add as well, I'm sorry to interject, but a lot of my sales and trade show activity is based around these markets as well. So there's a follow up to it. There's not just
there's a
the eyes
leveraging
and
of
social. It. Correct.
Hey, guys, if I could add just a couple quick things from the Madden side. I mean, it's a great marketing platform for us just from the targeting on top of the geos. They have all that spend data, so when we go market to people, we can market to people who've taken similar vacations or have shown interest in similar destinations. So it's a great media platform, but it's so valuable for us, for sure to be able to tell you guys what that direct spend is. But as TJ alluded to earlier, to continue to have that data beyond just clicks and impressions and engagement, but also see what these markets are doing, how they're performing, where we're getting our strongest ROIs. It's a great tool just for us as an agency as well, on top of just the value it's driving as we think about our strategies going forward. So we like it. It's a platform for where we're using it for a lot of our clients. And it definitely, as we go forward with, future fiscal planning, it will definitely continue to be a part of the overall plan that we present to.
Follow up. Again, I just automatically looked at it as an annual thing rather than quarterly. Is there savings if it were an annual contract versus doing quarterlies?
Good question.
We've got the rate pretty well negotiated. We work with them so much across the board that we get kind of a lower CPM out of the gate. So probably not much, if anything, there, because we're already getting a aggressive to CPM better than what we would get if we just went direct one-off.
One other thing that I would add to this is, even though we're saying that we would like to launch it now through April, of course that's going to affect the springtime, but there is also a 90-day attribution window after the campaign ends. So we will actually still be collecting data through, April, May, June, through July. So people that show up in market even during the summer, we will still be capturing that data to help inform our decisions. So while we're making an impact, of course, in the spring, this is also to get ahead of those people, to get them into the consideration set, to make them start thinking, is this a place that I want to visit, even in the summer, which is the part of the off-season shoulder season.
Well, I'm typically a believer in getting a full data set, and because, 1 month is not like the other, 1 quarter is not like the other, so that's something that I would typically like to see in my own practice in corporate life. So seems like a good thing for us to continue with, and we can always not do it in the future, but that would be a good data set, especially considering the true up that we have coming in. So
okay, if I may, I'll make the motion and we proceed with the $105,000 L special projects to move forward with this.
I'll second it. Michael too.
Any further board discussion? Any comments from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Unanimously.
2 for
More
2.
Coffee.
Well, thank you for the approval on that. It definitely is, again, going to be worth that investment to have the data to really compare the shoulder season and peak season. And while I'm done asking you for money for today, I do want to put that.
Notice he said for today.
Every quarter.
Hey, no pressure on the new chair. Thanks, guys.
Well, part of the reason that we want to, that data is really looking at, having a digital first and video first strategy for Discover Crystal River. I mean, the destination is so amazing, and video is really, a great way to showcase all the beautiful assets that you have there. So what we would like to do is, using the Conversant data, we want to make sure that we're utilizing all of our new brand videos. When we look at video, we see a really big change in the video landscape. Just over 200 advertisers make up about 88% of the network TV ad revenue. However, if you look at Facebook, it's so much more fragmented with over 10 million advertisers, promoting stuff on Facebook. So, there's a lot more competition there. However, you get better targeting capabilities. And when we're looking at cable, only 8 networks have a primetime rating above 1 million, yet YouTube has over 22,000 channels that have over 1 million subscribers. So especially during COVID, streaming video has increased significantly. Digital video gets 48% more engagement and 1,200% more shares. And consumers are also spending about 25% more time than what they used to on digital videos, watching about 2 hours and 35 minutes. So really, looking at digital video is a huge, huge priority. And that's where we want to use part of that Conversant data to making sure that we're hitting the right targets, the right audience that's going to spend more and stay longer in the destination. So with that, you can go on to the next slide. What we want to consider once we get this data is expanding our video buys with connected TV. Connected TV is a great place. It is super cost effective, cost efficient. It's great being great stewards of taxpayer dollars. This is a way that we're going to really be able to hone in on those right audiences and really connect with them. And there's 3 in 4 U.S. broadband households that have connected TVs, in their household already. So it's a really great place. You can still target all the same networks and same channels. If you go on to the next slide, Jen. And so this will be something that we want to look at utilizing our new data that we'll get with the spring Conversant campaign.
Yeah, TJ, I'll just add, I know we don't want to certainly move completely away from broadcast, but as overall as an agency, as we move forward, we'll definitely look to have more connected TV in that mix, more trackable video as well, but just overall putting more and more of our investment into video as we go forward. All right, we have one last thing, just kind of planting some seeds for future conversations. We had a slide earlier about the kind of Visit Responsibly campaign. We had some great numbers on. But as an agency and really as an industry, we're seeing more and more work shifting towards making sure that we're not only just marketing our destinations, but we're helping support manage them, especially with destinations like you guys that your value proposition is really focused around natural assets and sensitive assets that we need to protect. Not only is this good for our communities and our stakeholder engagement, but recent data continues to show that consumers that see destinations focusing on sustainability and making sure they're protecting those assets, that consumers are actually making decisions to travel to those destinations above others. So as we go forward, and likely as we get to probably the next board meeting, we're going to share some ideas of how we can make the kind of Visit Responsibly not just a one-off campaign, but make that a bit of a foundation of all of our efforts. Making sure we're not only bringing visitors to the destination, but as they're showing interest to come, that we're also putting those educational messages out there, making sure they understand how to navigate. And if we can impact some significant percentage of people with that content, we hope that as those people visit, they understand our destination more, they understand our community, which in turn will make sure that they're respecting it and visiting in a more respectful manner. So it's an area that we want to make sure that we're pushing forth and putting as part of our foundational efforts. We also think there's a lot of value in continuing to leverage the Manatee Capital of the World brand beyond just travel, and are thinking about some ideas of how we can activate the Crystal River brand from an educational standpoint, so that as consumers out there are thinking about manatees, researching manatees, teaching about manatees, that Crystal River, our website and our content are tools that they use to continue to put the Crystal River and Citrus County brand as synonymous with a manatee outside of just travel. So as we think about future growth, I think we're doing some great work. We know we're doing great work, but we think this is an area that we can continue to expand that'll have a great impact on the destination as well. So we're going to work on some ideas with the with the tourism team there between now and the next board meeting, and hopefully have some recommendations for you guys of how we can take this messaging forward into the future. As we
And I would just add to this, this really is a strategy to really put Discover Crystal River, as a thought leader of the industry, being that educational provider on, all things related to, manatees and conservation and, having that educational component. But really, this is also moving your organization from just being a destination marketing organization to also being a destination management organization. And that, that's so valuable right now to really find that right audience who is going to be responsible stewards of your landscape and ecosystem. So we really think that this could be a huge pillar for your foundational marketing components. And we look forward to presenting ideas at the next board meeting for this.
Michael Mankey here. Just a comment or question, thought, seed planting on that educational side. As you look forward to it, there's a number of foundations and universities that have educational programs. Like Guy Harvey has his. I know my daughter is a marine biologist at FIU, and they're building a whole high school campaign. I think it's their job to A, educate, B, recruit. How do we become a component of some of these other major movements as it relates to the marine science world and higher education that focuses possibly on the manatees and the focus on the great job we've done with restoration of the seagrasses and scalloping grounds and natural everything. So just, again, plant a seed. If there's a way we could get our foot in the door with these other major, and it's not just Guy Harvey, it's not just FIU, it's IFAS, it's Oklahoma has it, Hawaii has it, Santa Barbara has it, because my daughter's going through grad school applications now, so I'm getting more aware of all the marine science companies out there or education. So just a seed plant to see if that's an avenue that we can distribute our product that could help and perpetuate us as well.
Yeah, but I appreciate that. That's right kind of on the path that we're thinking, is how do we continue to align with those types of organizations and just try to be that place that they think of from it. And I think that's a great place to do it. So we're on the same page. Certainly haven't gotten that far down the path to start making those contacts yet, but that's some legwork we look to do between now and the next board meeting to give you guys some more details that's fleshed out. But yeah, we're on the same page for sure.
Good work.
Well, that's our update. That was pretty long, so thank you guys for staying so focused through that. Happy to address any questions, thoughts, concerns of what's going on here at this point.
Thank you, guys. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it?
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I'm the token waiver.
Hi, Terry.
See you guys. Bye, Terry.
Bye.
I think Michael, I didn't want to say this with them on there, I think Michael Mankey made a good point. We need to look at a marketing strategy overall. Clearly, circumstances sometimes change during the year, particularly with COVID and all, but I'm not a big fan of bolt-on things, okay? And I think that they've gotten to the point that they're bolting on a lot of stuff, and it's getting to the point that it's rivaling the size of the original contract.
Amen.
Yeah.
So it needs to be looked at comprehensively, and my recommendation would be to develop a marketing plan in concert with the budget that you're going to start preparing shortly, and then unless something comes up that's out of the ordinary or something, try to stick to that and budget to that level.
The out of the ordinary is becoming the ordinary.
Yeah.
Well, a good marketing firm sells the customer and the client.
Amen.
There you go.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Versus plead the fifth.
Forgiveness.
That's a really good point. I think in their defense with COVID, in setting budgets, we all expected to tank, especially during that, and we didn't. So, but your point is exceptionally well taken, that it needs to be part of the regular deal, and not the bolt-on stuff. So, trust me, I know what agencies might get up to.
Been there, done that?
Been there, done that. there's firms that are ethical and there's firms that aren't. Mine
Sure.
is, but,
No
and
question.
I think they are as well, but,
They
you
are.
know, doesn't hurt to,
Check 'em.
as I like to say, trust but verify. Speaking of, all those exceptional results that we're seeing, are y'all in the back end of analytics on the website? So you guys are verifying those numbers
Yeah,
that they're giving us?
absolutely.
Okay. That was just my little housekeeping question.
So before we move on to Randy's point, they are doing what I've asked them to do, which is bring forward items, which is what I've heard from the TDC, which is just we want to spend the money. So if you don't wish me to bring forward things, then we can do that and stick just with the marketing plan. But I think I'm doing what I was being directed to do, which is now to bring things that are outside the plan forward.
Yes, and speaking for myself, I would say that that's where you try new stuff, and if you try new stuff and it works, it becomes part of the regular deal going forward, unless it's a one-off. But that's where you get the fresh ideas and you move forward and things like that, but the budget continues to grow, so it should be part of the budget if it's working, and then always experiment. Does anybody have any comments on that?
Agree completely. It was a great bring up. Works.
Yep.
Let's move forward with it. Now find another great thing to bring up. So don't ever stop, John. Keep bringing us new ideas.
Yep.
Okay, can do.
Poor John, I think we scared him there for a minute.
No, I just want to be clear since I'm not in the room.
Yeah.
Technically. Physically not.
Body language.
Yeah, you can't see his hands.
All you can see is me.
Speaking of, we
Yeah.
should really have cameras on the board too.
Yeah, if Terry's not banging her head on the desk, things are going okay.
All right.
Okay, so are we on to E1, BCB destination updates?
Yeah. So before Terry jumps into the numbers, I think one of the probably maybe the worst kept bit of news is that Miles will be joining Randy's team permanently. We farmed him out during the COVID to do a lot of work when we were kind of quiet, but he's accepted a position in the public information office, and he's wrapping up the magazine. And I think it's very important to thank Miles for all his contributions and the efforts that he put forward for our organization. We've been very lucky to have someone of his skill set with us for as long as we have. Generally, those folks pop in and then bounce out to much larger and better things. Maybe Randy's office is a larger and better thing. I'm unsure yet, but
if I have anything to do with it, it will be.
Well, I hope so. Mark, Miles and I had several conversations about things. I said, you're going to have to find your own fun. I mean, our thing is fun is easy to find. So he's up for the challenge, but it's very important that publicly we thank Miles for all the efforts and above all else, the magazine would not be the magazine without him as the editor, and that's going to be a significant effort to stay up to that bar that he's set. I'm looking forward to that challenge, but I am aware of what that challenge is. So I can see a foot in the corner for Miles, but I just wanted to make sure that it's publicly thanked for all the efforts he's done for our office.
Thank you, Miles.
Thank you, Miles.
You know where you live now too, so.
All right, now Terry can run out all the numbers.
I'm probably the only board member that is thankful that you're leaving the TDC.
Do we move the magazine part of this to Randy's office?
We're helping our budget.
We're in his budget, yeah. All right, well, not surprisingly, great numbers again. These, again, reminder, these are for November, is what we were able to track based on the STAR reports that we get. So you'll see that in November 21 versus 20, our occupancy is up again, but another 27, almost 28% over November of last year, which isn't unexpected. We would expect this year to be better than the last, but if you also compare it to our comp set, we're doing very well, especially in the area of ADR. Thank you, Michael, and Mike and Michael for pushing those numbers up higher, and which also creates a better RevPAR for us. Pretty much same story year to year, year over year. It's pretty consistent with what we're seeing. Any questions on the STAR reports?
The question, and this is probably for Michael, on the STAR report, the question I've got is, our comparable markets seem to have increased more than we have.
That's because the easy answer is because they were worse off last year than we were this time last year. We had a really pretty good last year as well, so our growth is phenomenal over the growth we already had last. We actually showed growth last year,
right?
Year over year, except for March, April, and May, I believe. So when you start getting into these latter months, we performed better. They performed worse. So this year they performed better than their worst, if that makes any sense.
And also, I believe Pasco and Hernando have both added hotel rooms as well in the last year. I know Pasco has for sure. I'm not sure about Hernando.
So yeah, it's recognizable, but if you look at, actually I noted on mine that if you look at the RevPAR changes, they're flattening a little bit. 50%, still huge, but we're still pumping up there at 50% as well. We're, I think last month, if we looked at it, they were in the like 70, 80, 90% growth factor. So it's starting to level out because the business started coming back again towards the fourth quarter of last year. This is a November reflection. So.
Correct. Any other questions on that one?
Terry,
Okay.
before you go on, one
Sure.
thing that Madden didn't mention, the Voyage program that we had spoken about comes online by the end of the month, and that has the VRBO and Airbnb data as a component of one of the filters that you can use. And I got a preliminary look at it, and it's pretty impressive how you can navigate that. But what they showed me the other day was that our VRBO or the vacation rental, we had about 2,300 rooms available, and we were at 69% occupancy. So that will be something that we'll start including in the reports as soon as we can, as soon as we get fully functional. It's kind of a beta thing at the moment, but that information will be available, and we'll put it in the behind the star board each month.
Okay, we'll go on to the tax revenue. Again, pretty darn good. 39, almost 40% growth year over year. So we're on track to exceed our 2020 numbers, our 2021 numbers, excuse me. Nothing but good news there as far as I can see. Anybody? Comments, questions?
Just always make the point, November's revenue reflects the October collection.
Correct. Correct. Which makes it also much more confusing. So now I will pass it on to Jody for our social media update.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
So, just as a broad overview, our top performing posts that don't have manatees in them, because I like to shake it up a little bit. We always know that the manatee is gonna win. For the Facebook main page, just over 188,000 followers on that page, and we had a really great response to the opening of Florida Cracker Kitchen there over by the Monkey Bar. People were incredibly excited about it. You can see the people reach at this point, which was, a little while back, was at over 32,000, almost 33,000 people, with, almost 200 shares, tons of comments. People were really excited about the kitchen, and just knowing that that kind of fun and unique location is coming to our area. And it's also exciting for us in regards to fam tours, because it's another place to bring them for breakfast or lunch that is fun and unique to the area. People love Monkey Island. As far as the Facebook fishing page, we're up at 23,500 followers, and Captain Katie Joe, as our newest fishing report, has really been kicking butt. People have been loving her content that she's putting out every week. So again, it's nice to have a Crystal River and a Homosassa fishing report. Whenever we're able to get some for freshwater, we'll put that out there, but we don't have anybody. It doesn't change as much as the saltwater reports, so it's a little bit less frequent. We've also just pushed out, after this, we pushed out our second edition of Tackle Tips with Mike Anderson over there at Real Animals Fishing. So that one has been great for our 1-minute video views on that fishing page. Sometimes this thing, are we plugged in?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Go ahead and
Can you click it? Yeah, so this was our top Instagram post, and this is a young man named Kaysen. He sends me tons of great video. Absolutely love working with him, and you know, it's just a partner here that lives in the community that's willing to share because he loves the area. So there he is. I cut it a little bit, maybe took a little off the beginning, a little off the end there, but he is swimming the caves over in Chaz. And so that's a really fun area that a lot of people don't know about for Seven Sisters. And so the more that we can show people about, you know, the Chaz and just all of the different rivers that we have in the area instead of just Crystal River. Next slide for me. And for our comparison, as you all, and we'll tell Commissioner Davis now, I'm not a very competitive human, but my goal in life is to surpass Amelia Island. I don't know where this passion comes from, but I'm really dedicated.
I remember you saying that before. That's your.
So I'm getting progressively closer. We are 100 followers closer to Amelia Island this month. Last month was 300. I was very excited. They did not have a good month last month. They did fine this month, but unfortunately.
But nobody looked.
So,
Looks like you can go right past New Smyrna Beach too.
Yeah, here's hoping. I mean, once I surpass Amelia Island, then New Smyrna Beach is done for. But so, you know, that's my goal every week. We are seeing, other than Florida Historic Coast, which is St. Augustine, which is almost an unachievable goal unless we get something that's crazy viral. We are seeing the highest amount of growth for all of our comparison, all those that we do the comparison to every month. And so that is something that I'm definitely proud of. We average about 300. On our good months, it's 500 new followers a month, more than the rest of them. So you see here on Instagram over on the right-hand side, we got 527 new followers that month for Instagram. So everybody else is generally getting around 200 to 300 new followers a month. So that's how we're slowly but surely catching up to them. Very proud. As far as our post interactions over there on Instagram, you see almost 9,000 post interactions, which was another 7.5 increase there, with well over 67,000 total accounts reached. And I've loved to see it as when we look at the insights there on Instagram, it's not only followers that we're reaching. I mean, obviously with 23,000 followers, we're reaching far more than just our followers when we're looking at our total accounts reached. So that's good news. It means people are sending it to their friends. It means that we're showing up on the Discover page. So always trying. As far as Facebook, we got just over 500 new followers. And then the second bullet is one thing I'd really love to highlight, is that 25% increase in 3-second video views. So if you follow the page, you may have noticed a few videos here and there with my face. And as much as I don't like that, if I show up there on screen talking in the first few minutes before I flip it around and show them Three Sisters or the trail that I'm on, we've seen a dramatic increase in not just the 3-second video views, which is what they give you the insights on, but also our 1-minute video views. So the ability to keep anybody's attention in this day and age for a full minute is not that bad. So it's been great to see that, that effort, as much as I hate answering comments and my face and voice pop up every time that I've got to go to one of those videos. If it works, it's worth it at the end of the day. And then, that's 741,000 total accounts reached there on Facebook. We see a lot of fantastic shares on Facebook, so that's what's really helping to drive that for us. I believe that's the last one for me.
So did you say that the other Amelia Island is getting about 200 additional a month?
So on the good months, they'll get about, so they're seeing a fairly decent increase as well. It's us, Amelia Island, and St. Augustine that are seeing the best in regards to increases. Sorry to John's alma mater, Visit Gainesville is only, seeing like 50 to 100, so there's other ones that aren't performing quite as well, and so that's how we're slowly but surely gaining on them.
Well, I was just trying to do the math for you.
Amelia Island's getting about 200 to 300, depending on how good their month is. But
so you're gonna pass them in 2 to 3 months.
Here's hoping. I've tried to have that realistic, attainable goal of 6 months. But your girl's gonna keep chugging along and working on it because I'm passionate about it for some ungodly reason.
Well, that's good.
We like it. You gotta have something, right?
Competition's kind of godly, so.
Yeah. It's just a very funny thing because again, I'm not a competitive person. I couldn't care less about most things, but you throw me in a leaderboard and all of a sudden I'm just like, I gotta do it. So.
Good.
Thank you. Any other questions, guys?
No, ma'am.
Good job.
Thank you.
Love the enthusiasm.
FAM tours, we're doing great. Seeing the international tourism returning and getting the word out. We've already had, or will have, Metro from the UK, which is a publication that you'll see a lot. People in the UK still read print media, mainly because they have the underground, maybe because they're on a ferry getting to work. But when you're there in London, you see a lot of people still consuming print media. Metro is a great avenue to reach people with. Terry also has a pre-Huddle fam coming in from Brazil. Huddle, of course, being the Visit Florida International Tourism Show, which is happening in Tampa in a little over a week. Travel Awaits is a USA person coming from Visit Florida's PR firm in New York. The person isn't from Visit Florida's PR firm, but the FAM tour is through Visit Florida's PR firm. And also Manuel Callender at Lieb in Munich is sending us Touristik Aktuell from Germany. We had a person reach out to us recently from Turkey who Jody's working with on setting up a FAM tour for early February. And then Hayworth PR has come up with a Galentine's getaway, a Valentine's getaway for gals that we're working on with Plantation on Crystal River in early February. We've been in a transition period since heard about the new job just before Christmas holiday, and since the first of the year I've been working with Jody to transition her. She'll be stepping into my role at the Visitors Bureau, and we'll be taking over FAM tours, and we'll also be working on a lot of other things that I've been working on. A few things I've been trying to wrap up is the magazine and also the Waterways brochure that we're working on, which will be kind of our triptych of pamphlets. I think if I can say something in parting, where I think there's something we need to assess. I think Randy was very insightful earlier on in the meeting when he called attention to the magazine as opposed to brochures and other methods of reaching our customers. The magazine idea, the best I can reckon, is a circa 2013 idea. I believe Rebecca Bays was on the board at that time as a commissioner, and I think it was a very good idea in 2013 to create the magazine. I think we're at a natural transition point now. I've shepherded the magazine since 2016. The one coming out shortly will be the 6th one that I was managing editor on. So I think we're at a natural transition point. We have a lot of marketing expertise sitting at these tables. Think about it. how much has changed in the way we do business since 2013? Almost everything has changed. You look at our media buys in our marketing plan. They went from about 3/4 traditional media and 1/4 digital media to 80% digital media and 20% traditional media. We watched watch Madden give us a presentation in which they said they're even moving away from television into other forms of video that are getting a more lucrative and substantial audience. So the ground has shifted substantially since 2013. And my recommendation would be that moving forward, you take a hard look at how the how we produce the magazine, why we produce the magazine. Because I'm not saying I think it needs to go away per se. It's our top piece of collateral material at this point. But print is not as powerful as it was in 2013. And I think the demographics on print do tend to be a little older, people who consume print. For instance, in our county, with 37% of people 65 and older, our newspaper still does really well here. And I'm really grateful that we have a great community newspaper. I think that we need to really evaluate how the magazine looks going forward. Is it as big as it is physically? Is it a smaller magazine? Does it have the page count it has now? How effective is it to our advertisers? Because one of the reasons we have advertising in it is because it's been an effective marketing tool for advertisers. I think we do need, just a couple ideas off the top of my head, I think we still do need a substantial piece of collateral material that goes in hotel rooms and in businesses for people who are in destination, because it does give them information. When I came on board, we moved more toward a magazine format rather than a guide format. So that's another thing I think you can consider is, does it need to be a magazine with stories? Because stories are really good, but we can also do those stories on our website. Or does it need to be more of a guide that just gives people the ABCs of where to go, what the address is, what the phone number is, how to get there, things of that nature. So not to take up any more time on that, but I think that's a thing to look at moving forward. And it may not be that things need to change immediately, but I would encourage you to look out 3 years and 5 years and try to guesstimate where we're going to be then. I would say the trend we've seen happening since 2013 is only going to amplify as we move forward. So that'll be it for me.
Thank you, Miles.
Thanks, Miles.
That does it for the director's report.
All right. Jackie, you got anything?
I'm just thrilled that Culver's opened, and I have now become a member. I have had a Butterburger. Oh my word. It is amazing. We're looking forward eagerly to the building. If you come through town, you can see it going up next to Sonny's, where we're going to have Chili's and the bank. So we eat a lot over there. But things are going great. We're still getting positive comments on our very first Light Up the Polls. People just loved it, and it was something different. So we're moving along.
Awesome.
Yep.
And
Thank you.
Looks like we skipped over E2 financials in the PowerPoint.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Did
We don't usually review those, do we?
Well, not the total financials.
No, on the detailed financials, it's provided as a service for you to,
Okay.
as the council members to dig into,
All right.
but we just hit the funds, the collection numbers mostly on that.
Your predecessor.
okay. Okay. Anything else? Dr. Desai?
This pirate school, the funds, we were supposed to give 185,000 if approved. Which bucket the funds were coming from?
Capital.
Capital.
Capital, right?
Mhm. But it looks like that's dead in the
Off the
water,
table.
but we'll,
Yeah.
we'll see if
Yeah.
my colleague comes up with another rabbit out of a hat. So, it's a shame, but maybe he can resurrect it, so, we'll see.
Well, first off, welcome. It's the end of the meeting, but,
Thank
welcome
you.
as our new chair. And sorry to see you go, Miles. It's been a pleasure working with you as a partner and, from the TDC for, the last several years. So we know you're not going too far, although is this a trend? Did Veronica go to the same office? So Randy's found a
Just for the
recruiting-
record, I'm not going anywhere.
Randy's found a recruiting place.
I'm gonna take it as a feather in my cap that I
There you go.
find good folks.
Don't worry, John. I've done my time as a PIO. I'm good.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to discuss that. I think you're staying.
December for my business was kind of like crazy off the charts, way beyond expectations. I think we're getting a little bit of the there's no such thing as bad publicity effect. In addition to COVID and people getting outside, nationally people know about Manatees again. So it may not be the National Geographic cover or the positive spin, but the mortality rate, especially on the East Coast, is having an effect at my end, to the point of, I didn't put it on the business page, I shared it on my personal page. We had a young lady walk in with 2 bags of lettuce because she wanted to feed the manatees because she heard they were starving.
Oh, boy.
Now, she was innocent, she was excited about, nothing negative about her. It was kind of funny the way it played down because my son saw it, he was working a desk and says, "What's that?" "Oh, it's lettuce," or well, she may have even come in and said, "I've got lettuce to feed the manatees," and my son was like, "Not a real good idea." And the dad says, "Why?" "Well, could be up to a $10,000 fine." He says, "That lettuce isn't going on the menu."
Salad for everybody.
But that message is out there, and to the point of Save the Manatee Club has billboards soliciting donations, even in places like York, Pennsylvania. So, I mean, you're a ways outside of Harrisburg, let alone Philly or Pittsburgh. But there's a billboard with manatees on it as you drive by. So that's helping us indirectly. So I think we're benefiting from that a little bit as well. We'll take what we can get. So just insights from my corner, or maybe not insights, speculation, probably a better term.
Thank you, Mike. Michael, anything?
Haven't I already talked too much? No. Welcome, thanks for being part of the thing.
Thank you.
The thing. So we'll go from there. Insight-wise from the hotel side, revenues are good so far. Thank God, knock on wood, looking good for the first quarter. Expenses are extremely high. Finding employees are hard to do. Keeping them's even harder.
Sorry, John.
So, could be a good, robust 2022. Hopefully the suck bubble that may burst doesn't do it this year so far. So we are experiencing some COVID-related cancellations again in the last minute with the side of the marketplace, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the leisure side of the marketplace. So keep our eyes open, our fingers crossed, and keep marching forward, find new people.
All right. Anything else?
We got a big RV show coming up next week in Tampa, the biggest RV show in the country that Hershey kind of buy for #1 every year. And they're expecting record numbers again this year. Over 60,000 people come through there every year on 5 days. I know in Hershey we take a lot of those catalogs and stuff. Are you guys going to be at the Tampa show?
Yes.
Okay, I say I'm going to
Same
volunteer to
booth as
take a
every
bunch
year,
of the
yeah.
stuff down there for you if I have to or whatever.
When's the Tampa show?
Next week, starts the 18th.
Tuesday through Sunday next week.
Well, Tuesday's industry day, though,
Right.
so it's not open to the public.
But we have to be set up.
Yes.
Any other, anybody in the audience want to comment? No? All good? All right. Our next meeting is Wednesday, February 9th at 9 a.m. and we are adjourned.
Thank you.